The views expressed on this program are those of the producers and individuals appearing on this program and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Sun Prairie Media Center staff, its video service providers, or the staff and elected officials of the City of Sun Prairie.
There's something that can be done as a possibility and it's going to benefit, then we'll try to connect those dots. You know what you're capable of, you've run at that pace, and now you have to redirect.
Welcome to Moments of Strength. I'm your host, Mary Kaufman. In this show, we celebrate the incredible resilience of mothers showing up through life's challenges, growing through every triumph, and carving out space for their own passions and identity. We're here to uplift and reassure every mom that you're not alone, and asking for help is a powerful strength. Each episode brings a story of motherhood's beautiful chaos. I'm happy you can join us for today's inspiring journey. And today's guest is Emily. So welcome, Emily.
Hi.
So nice to have you here. And you and I actually just recently met.
Yes.
And so I'm excited to walk through your journey today. I only know a little bit, little tidbits. So the aim of the show really is to present life experiences to the viewers of moms who've sort of been through it or going through it, so they don't feel alone, so they understand that, you know, we're a community of moms worldwide raising the world, basically. And so to be able to hear other moms' life experiences in long form, there are ways to hear that, you know, in 30-second and 60-second clips on social media, but a long form story to understand that, you know, motherhood is a long journey, takes commitment, it's going to be hard. And I think hearing that from other moms really provides an opportunity for them to draw strength and suggestion and things like that. So would love to start with, you know, how you grew up, as much or as little as you want to share, and then the path to your motherhood journey sort of naturally unfolds. So we'll just go from there.
Okay, great. Okay. Well, like you said, my name is Emily. I just turned 35 yesterday, and I am a mom of 4.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yes, happy birthday. And I grew up in Rhinelander, Wisconsin. It's a small town, Northwoods, 8,000 people when I was growing up, and 99% white. I have one older brother. He's 2 years older, and both my parents. And we grew up in the country, like in the woods. We lived on the lake, but we were in the woods away from town. But the school in our town was actually big, considering that the population is small, because lots of other kids came in. But growing up, I always felt like I was very average. Average height, average weight, average hair color, average looks, you know, all this stuff where other people were excelling. And I have a larger than average foot size. But besides that, everything else is pretty average. So, yeah, I guess I just kind of grew up feeling like that. And I always thought, you know, being in a small town, you don't see a lot except for like white people, and they all kind of look the same. And then there's like the pretty jockey blonde people, and then, you know, the artsy people. I fell more into like the theater category. I don't know if that makes me like a nerd, but and then when I was 16, I decided I wanted to see something different. But what do you do when you're 16? So I came across the opportunity to go on foreign exchange for a year, and I went to the least average place. I went to Turkey for a year.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you're 16, so you're in high school.
Yes.
And they had an exchange program.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Rotary Youth Exchange. And I went there, and yeah, it was anything but average. I showed up, my family didn't speak English, so it was, you know, not only did I just get off the plane after traveling across the world by myself, no one spoke English, everything was really weird. I was a picky eater, so I was like, I don't like tomatoes or olives or onions, and that's like their diet.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It was all a very big learning experience there, and kind of finding more of myself. And I've never had like a large group of friends. You know, you see some people who have like 10 friends in their group. I was like 2 or 3. And so then there, all of a sudden I had, you know, a large group of friends, mostly other exchange students, just because you're going through the same sort of thing. So there was a really good community there of probably 15 of us.
Oh, nice.
That were super tight. And so we'd go and do things, we'd tour places. Or, and so that was a really unique experience. And then coming back, because I had to come back and finish my senior year in small town Wisconsin, was really rough as well. Yes. Oh, yes. It was coming back to, that small group of friends who were kind of stuck in things that they had done last year. And that, not that that wasn't anything cool, but I wasn't at prom the year before. So that was really hard for me coming back. And then, all of a sudden my mom's there and she's so helpful and loving, but she, wants to help do my laundry. And I'm like, well, I've just done my laundry by myself for a year. Like I was getting on the bus and going places. And now I'm
so much independence.
Now you're back to, I didn't have a car and I lived out in the woods, so I can't really go anywhere. But anyway, so that was a really jarring year for me. And then I went to college in Eau Claire, and that was a good experience. But I found myself, I fell back into that, I feel very average state, right? And not to say it wasn't fun. I had a great time, but still, I had one really good friend, and then a few other friends, so a very small group. And then you graduate college, and everyone kind of moves around, and pretty much right after I graduated, I met my husband, and he, anything but average, he's from Australia, so.
And you met him?
In Rhinelander, in the small town,
in your town, which I thought when you first told me that,
which is wild.
It's crazy.
There's a country music festival, which I had never even gone to, and then I was like, I'm just going to try working there one year, because I was working in the summer trying to save money for the school year. So, and I met him while I was bartending. There's 20 bartenders. There's 10,000 people there. That doubles the town's population for a week. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. And so even now, we've been back a few times. We're like, I can't believe we met here. I can't believe you were here. I can't believe I was here.
The timing.
It was wild. So then I went and spent a year in Australia. Not as jarring as Turkey, but a really good experience. And then, we came back and got married. And we were married for a year and a half. And we decided, my husband's a little bit older, so we decided we'll have our first kid. We'll try to have our first child. And then, we pretty much, 18 months apart, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, and that was 2017, 2019, 2020, and 2022. So really fast. And after, when we had our first son, Oliver, I was still working. I was working as a life enrichment coordinator in an assisted living. So basically I did activities. That's a fancy word for activities. And I love that job. I always loved working with older people. So I love the job. I love that I could sort of pick, what I was passionate about. So we did, armchair traveling, or I'd come in and play music, or we'd do let's try a new craft thing. Whereas my coworkers would be like, well, I love painting nails, so I'm going to paint everyone's nails. And it was just a really neat kind of group there. And I kind of felt like, okay, I belong here. This is good. Yeah.
Was this in Rhinelander?
This is actually in Madison.
Oh, you came here.
Well, yes,
okay.
Yes. Oh, yes. So we moved, after we got married, we moved to Madison pretty much immediately. He's from Sydney. So, big city, and me from small town. I knew I never wanted to live in Rhinelander, but I was like, I don't know if I could jump to, Chicago. Yeah. But Madison was great. We love Madison so much. So we, we moved here, and I was working there. And, it was really good. I felt like this is a good spot for me. And one kid, we were paying for childcare, and that was great. And then as soon as the second one came, I was like, I can't afford to work. It is wild, the childcare situation. And we were doing an in-home daycare. It wasn't anything crazy. So anyway, so after we had our second, Charlie, I decided to stay at home with them, and that was good. For a year, 2 years, I watched another little girl, so we had another one. And then when I had my third child, Florence, a girl, I watched the other girl for another 6 months, and then I said, I think I'm hands full, right? Yeah. Hands very full.
Especially when they're so little.
Yeah. And that was about when I was pregnant again. So I was like, I think I'm good to step back. And these were all planned. I mean, it worked out probably better than we could have planned, really, just that gap. But so then I was still, I don't know, I feel like maybe my whole life I've been searching for a community, right, or something that's mine. And you lose it so much more in motherhood than you do in just day-to-day. So by the time I had my third, and I was just in motherhood, deep, right? Yes. In motherhood and watching another girl in it deep. And I was like, man, I've lost so much of myself. And how do I just try to claim some of this back? So I saw an ad for a laser machine, and I bought that and started a crafting business. So yes. So that's my fourth baby, I guess, and then fifth baby came. But so I've done that for years now, and that's been kind of a good thing. But once again, it doesn't feel like, a community. You can be in Facebook groups with people across the nation who are doing the same thing, but it doesn't feel that close. So this last year, I felt more like, they say it takes a village to raise kids. I've always felt like I need to join the village.
Where's the village?
Yeah, where is the village? And then I thought I need to join the village maybe before the village comes to me.
It's a big revelation.
Yeah, yeah. So I've been trying to, search out groups or like even with friends, just being more like, you're not asking for help, but I'm going to drop off food for you because you're whatever's happening. You just had a baby, your kids are sick, someone passed away. And just trying to reach out more like that or be like, I'm here to help you if you need. And then, vice versa, hopefully comes. And I mean, luckily we haven't needed that yet, but it feels good to try to re-enter that. Except for I'm still have like one or two good friends. Yeah. And then not like a community. So I think that things like this are just amazing for like maybe connecting people or letting people know like, man, if you're not in a spot for friends right now, like that's okay. Like you could still have a community. So yes, I guess that kind of brings me to, like today, I think that this is wonderful.
Yeah, thanks. We can talk about that too. And the sense of community and some other directions that I'm going. But so how old are your kids now?
Okay, so our oldest, Oliver, is 8. And then our second oldest is 6. That's Charlie. Then we have Florence, who just turned 5, and Hugo is 3. So I am still in
You are so in it, yeah.
But not as far in it as like, we went out to a restaurant last night, and we didn't even have to bring like a diaper bag. So like, see, we're like,
were you like,
like this is like, what do I do with my hands?
Do you see
what do I do with my hands? It's so weird.
It is so weird. I mean, my kids are totally grown, and I'll just still, bring a bag, because just, I don't know, even for myself, like, is there a book in there?
Yeah, right.
Notebook
Yeah, wipes.
Yeah, I never have time for wipes. Oh, wipes. You never outgrow those for every single thing. Okay, so your kids are still little. Now, typically on this show, well, not intentionally, but it has been a pattern, and maybe it's because the availability of when I record, during the week, during the day, have been moms with older kids, not always, but not as many moms who are still like in the throes of it. And so, I mean, you really are with these young kids. So can you talk a little bit about, what are some of the challenges just being a mom of 4 kids, that are those ages, that other moms that are in the thick of it right now that might be watching, could identify with?
Yeah. I guess. I feel like since having, maybe not even after one kid. When you have one kid, you're kind of like blissfully unaware
it's like
of things.
Your baby doll.
And you can bring them places, and you can still do these things with your friends, and you're all good. For me, my friends weren't having kids when I had kids, so it was kind of like my first one. Yeah, you could bring them with, and everyone loved them. And then you get 2, and then you have a toddler and a baby, and it goes crazy. But I feel like as soon as you start to lose that, maybe when you have 2, maybe some people lose it at 1 too, but you start to lose yourself a bit as well. You're kind of like, my needs will be pushed down further.
Always.
And I feel like one thing that I didn't realize until maybe more recently is how far down you push what you like and what you like to do when you have kids, just by layering on, what they like to do. Like a good example of that, like our Spotify, how they do like a Spotify Wrapped? They send you like your summary of your year. For years, it was kid songs and Frozen songs and Mickey Mouse song and all this stuff. And it wasn't until more recently that I was like, that's it. I'm putting on music that I like, that's appropriate, and we're just going to listen to that instead of kid stuff. And that's, but back to it. Like, I feel like you don't realize it, though. It's not like you, like, all of a sudden wake up one day and you're like, oh, like, wow, I don't even know what I like to do anymore. What do I want to eat, Where do I want to go? What do I want to listen to? And you push it so far down that when it comes time now, like I feel like now I'm starting to gain things back. I know my kids are still young, but 2.5 of them are in school, right, halfway. Yeah. And I'm like, what do I do? Now I have an hour, I have 1 hour, 2 days a week where I have like free time. And I'm like, I don't even know what to do with myself. Where do I want to go? What do I want to do? And now, I'm looking around at our house and I'm thinking our house for years, we've just said, we'll just wait until like the kids are a little older till we start getting,
nicer
nicer stuff and like new furniture, like that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I don't even know what style I like because it's almost like you don't know yourself when you start to come out of it. Yeah, and I don't even think I'm out of it yet.
No.
So So,
but I will say, I feel like you're aware of it sooner than like an average, just a majority of women in it. We just don't give ourselves time to realize that. And I think some of that is, well, if I pay attention to that, I'll realize I missed that, and then will I be giving time to that I should be giving to my kids,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
because my role is my kids, and I'll sacrifice everything for them. And you should initially, but then what happens is, you know, when they become school age and you're still doing that, and somehow you can't realize that like a better you is better for them.
Yeah, yeah.
So you don't do the things that sort of complete you. And that 1 hour, 2 days a week, I mean, that's gold. And the other thing is, it's hard to convince ourselves to do something that we can't tie meaning to.
Yes. Oh,
So
that's it.
so maybe 1 hour, 2 days a week of whatever, going for a long walk. It's like, well, what is the benefit of, like, what's really the reward of that? Is that really how I should spend my time? I can't tie it to anything. So then that's not what you choose.
Yeah.
And then those 2 hours become so important that it's like a kid standing in like the toy aisle and you're like, pick one thing.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
they're like, I'll be here for 6 days because I need to look at everything. My choice, you know, I get this one time. And so.
Yeah, that is, it makes it feel so much more precious than that. Yeah, it makes you almost like, I need to do like all of these things in this hour because it's the only time that I have, but then you don't enjoy it. Like I do feel, even like in this stage, while I feel like I have maybe a little bit more time, I feel very rushed. Like everything is like a rush. I'm like, okay, I can drop our youngest off at the community playgroup. Those are great if you don't use those, but community playgroup, and yeah, it's an hour and a half. So by the time I drive there, drive back, I have an hour. Now I'm like, okay, do I go, you know, to the grocery store? Do I go to Costco? Do I go to the thrift store? Do I go home and try to clean something? Do I go home and have lunch myself when it's quiet? Do I go exercise? What do I do in this hour? And it does feel like, man, I'm flying during that hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and if you go to Costco, that's not not for you.
No,
You know what I mean?
No.
We do that because we're like, and for sure I've done that so much, and especially like when COVID hit, I used to challenge I love a challenge. And so I used to challenge myself. I'd make a list the night before and I'd be like, there will not be like one thing left on this list. I don't care what it takes. And it's amazing what you can do, because I would wake up and then I'll get all the kids all situated, but I'd always be like going back to the list. What could I fit in this next? And then I'd be like, I'll see if I can get that done in 3.5 minutes. Okay, no, I wasn't reporting to anyone.
Yeah,
I was just doing that for myself. And that really taught me sort of like what we're capable of in a certain amount of time. And then how to balance things that I was interested in with things for the house, things for the kids. But you can't learn that all at once. And it's trial and error, and it's like what felt good in that hour for you, but also for 10 minutes, did you run in and get whatever at Walgreens, you know, so you didn't take the full hour for yourself. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just, but you just have to do something.
Yeah,
you know, I think that's the biggest thing. Just do it, and then maybe you'll do it wrong. Maybe it was the wrong choice. Maybe you won't do that again, but like, just do it. Like, don't try not to be paralyzed by having like infinite number of things you could choose from.
That's good.
And then you're gonna feel good for a minute, and then you're gonna pick your kid up, and community play group was like stressful for them. You know what I mean? And you're right back in it.
They need stuff. Yeah. And that's probably another thing, like having 4 kids that are young, and the needs and the wants of like 4 different, even though they're similar ages, like very different wants and needs. Like there's multiple times where I'll have to be like, okay guys, I'm one mom and there's 4 of you. Let's either take turns like telling me what you need, or let's just, you know, like see if you can do it yourself. And that's been a big learning curve too for myself. I'm pretty laid back. I've always been very just kind of chill, very even keel. But one thing that like really gets me is noise. And surprise, surprise, 4 young kids, we have a lot of noise in our house, like a lot. And I'll just have to be like, you know, like give myself a little earplug and be like, it's okay, we're good, we're gonna get through it. But
it's temporary.
There's certainly a lot of years too where I had to almost like a chant or a mantra, like, I was trying to get to, when I was first staying home with 2, I was always like, we're gonna go out, we're gonna go to the library, on Tuesdays we're gonna do this, on Wednesdays we're gonna do this, and just try to get out of the house, because sometimes out is easier than in, sometimes. And I remember chanting, putting my screaming baby in the car who's colicky, right? So putting him in the car and being like, leaving the house is hard, but once we're out, we're good. And we kept that for years. We would say that. And I mean, even still, we could probably say it sometimes. But yeah, and so it feels like you know, if you're in a season where things are really hard like that, or you only have an hour that you're trying to cram everything into, like mentally plug your ears or physically and just be like, I got this. Like, I'm just going to breathe for a minute and that, or have your mantra, whatever you need to do. But like, everything is a season, right? Like, all of a sudden, one day you're putting your kids into the car and you don't need to buckle any of them. They can all buckle themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, we're so close to that. Or like all of a sudden we've bought our last like jumbo pack of diapers and now we're just on like nighttime pull-ups. And then, you know, all of a sudden our rocking chair, this is a sad one for me, our glider, like our rocking chair in the kids' room is redundant. They like to sit on the bed now and read together. And I'm like, oh, it's all like, it's
Get
all
in
changing.
the rocker.
Yeah, right. I'm going to sit in this chair. But it all changes so slow and so fast at the same time. And especially being home with kids, sometimes I feel like I almost take it for granted where it's like, I don't want to rush this.
Yeah.
Because it's hard now, because I know looking back, I'll be like, I won't remember the colicky baby who was up every 2 hours all night. I'll remember sitting in that rocking chair and like rocking him. So it's I feel very retrospective these days about baby years because we're done. We're out of it. And now I see it like now, because I said my friends weren't really having kids when I was having kids now. They're all starting to have kids. And so they're kind of in the throes of it. And I'm like, oh, like I remember those days. Like you got this slowdown. Because that's one thing I've noticed too. Is that when you have your first one, you're like, I can't wait for them to crawl.
Yeah.
I can't wait for them to walk. I can't wait for them to talk. I can't wait for them to eat food. Whatever it is, you can't wait for. And you're like, you can and you should. Like,
You can.
slow it down.
Yeah. Because you don't want to wish that time away.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, you're just like, are they gonna like?
excited,
Are they meeting the milestones? And like, what are we gonna do? And so you're just being pulled in so many different directions. You know, it's like, I love you and will care for you despite anything else. And also, I want to make sure like you have a good life. And I know you're 3 days old and we just got here, but like, you know, that doesn't change. And even as they get older, I mean, it's a graduation of sorts always. There's always a graduation going on, you know. You're out of babies. Now you're in like elementary ed kind of preschool years. And they kind of can go as slow or as fast as your mindset allows, you know. And so much of that, can I learn to be still while this is going on? You know, during COVID, we were home. So it was myself and 4 kids. And the youngest was 5. And then I think it was 5 to 11. And I really like enjoyed being there with them, you know. And I had my own stuff going on. You know, I worked full time for a year of that and then had to switch out of that and start working for myself because it was just a lot having 4 kids distance learning. But then I had to be like, well, I loved working, you know, outside the home. So how am I going to navigate that and be there for them and then be intentional with them? And then I used to also sometimes just be like, hey, everybody come to the living room. And it's 3 girls and then a boy. So I'm like, you have 1 hour and the 4 of you can figure out how to play in the living room together with something, you know. So the older girls would be playing like Batman figurines and stuff with, you know, the youngest. And to this day, I think they have great relationships because of that intentionality and like trying to create space for them to bond and things like that. But you have to think about that. You have to be intentional, and that's more work on you, you know. So.
Yeah, and I feel like in the culture these days, it's kind of like, how many things can you sign your kid up for?
Oh my gosh.
Like, it is wild. When I talk to other parents, our kids are signed, the 3 older ones are signed up for 1 thing each, right? And so, but I talk to other parents and they're like, well, today we have this, tomorrow we have this, then we have 2 things on this day. And I'm like, how do you do it? Like, I can't imagine running that much, and it must be exhausting.
It
for,
is.
like, everyone, and I get that, you know, if your kids show interest in things, you want them to do that. But I feel like part of us saying no to more than 1 thing at a time is being intentional. Like, I don't want to be driving and I love watching them do the things. But what about the other 3? They just, I mean, sit there and, I mean, now they have, you know, waiting rooms and stuff for kids. But that's been a really big challenge for me too, to just feel like, okay, we don't need to try all the things right now. We'll just do 1 at a time. And I think that's a really good approach for us right now. Now, when they get older, I mean, maybe there will be more interest and more things to do, but right now I'm like, that is a good intentional step back. And I feel like no one will probably ever say COVID was a blessing, because I think it was really hard.
I mean, it was
But I
terrific.
agree. I think that people did slow down. People were, you know, making their pancakes on Saturdays instead of going to football and baseball and all that stuff. And I think, you know,
everyone was on a walk.
Yeah.
It's like, all these people live in the neighborhood.
Yeah, we learned. I was going to say, we met so many of our neighbors during COVID that now we don't really, I mean, we don't really see them anymore. Just running. But And yeah, I guess, it's not a bad thing to be busy either and to, like what your kids like and to like watching them do it. And maybe for me, because we have 4, I'm just trying to set my mindset to like, how much can I put on my plate before I like.
Yeah. Well, because
out,
you
right?
understand that if you signed each kid up for 2 things and now you have 8 things and then you're one person, they're not going to enjoy that because it's just going to be like you frantically, you're not going to enjoy
Always
it.
rushing,
It's all going to be
always
logistics.
rushing. Yeah.
So that's so important to know. And every situation is different. How many kids matters. If you have one kid, maybe they can be involved in many things and you can be present for that.
Yeah.
But you have 4, so you adjust. And the other thing for the kids too then is if every kid's in something, the other kids get to witness that thing adjacent or indirectly. So they're seeing that, and it gives them time to discover whether or not they really like what they're involved in instead of just rushing 1, 2, 3.
Yes,
and we did that. I did get caught up in that too. And now they all kind of have picked at least one. My son likes multiple sports, but typically, the overlap isn't that bad. But the girls are older now. A couple of them drive, so they don't have to ride along.
Nice,
and then I can just worry about that they drive,
So
I
heard that's trading in a different worry, the driving. Yeah.
Like you want to be confident in it, but you have zero control over that. So at these ages where your kids are right now, it's just so much like teaching them like what's the energy of the house, sure we go and do that, but what's the energy we take with us and what do we bring home and what am I sharing with the littlest ones while I'm trying to watch you? And it's very easy to go right off the rails with any of that and be like, shh, because you're like,
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
We were in church the other day and, just babies unite. They all just like fired up, at the same time, and everybody's just trying to, manage. And the impulse really now, I think when I was younger and didn't have kids, it was like, just take your baby out of the church. But now I think, okay, can I help? And what am I going to shimmy pews over to, can I help is the first thought. And she must be beside herself trying to manage that.
That's totally it,
Maybe it's the 7th Sunday they've done that, and like this is the one that's going to make the difference that they don't leave when that toddler cries, so the toddler learns we don't leave. I don't know what the situation is, but it's a totally different mindset. So it's like, where are you putting your energy when you're somewhere with your children? And then how are you managing the other children? It's just a lot. Like it's a lot.
It is a lot. And like I love the church thing too, because I feel like there's so many situations too where when it's you feel like, oh my gosh, this is like the worst thing. But you don't really want to leave because like you're there. But
what did it take to get there?
But you stress so much about like what other people are thinking about you. And I mean, maybe even before I had kids, like I don't remember ever being like, oh, just like get that baby out of here, right? Like because it's kind of like, well, you deserve to be here too. But like, babies, when you don't have kids, you maybe would be a little bit like, oh, well, that's a lot. But never like that's the worst mom ever. But you feel like that, right? When you're in it, and it's so much like inner judgment, probably more than outer judgment.
Oh, it's like, definitely a reflection.
I mean, 100%. But you can't really tell yourself that in the moment either, right?
No.
You can't be like, this is just me saying this. No, I'm like sweating, right? And like wherever I am, trying to get my kids to behave.
And all those, I think too, moms have been moms, but then their kids are older, and then it's like, they forget, or whatever, they forget that they were a baby, You're on a plane and a baby's crying and everyone's so disgusted. It's like, what? You also were a child somebody had to manage. You didn't just show up here as an adult, and also I don't know. So I think the mindset is better to be, and I talk a lot about, lifting other moms and just, I don't know, being a resource more than a critic,
That's great,
maybe a right way to do something or something that worked for you, but really your role in that scenario is like to be what they need, not what like you think is right. And we're not asking for help as moms, and we're not asking. So you would have to offer, even if I don't ask for help, I definitely would give help to any mom that needed it. And most moms are like that. It's like, I can do it.
Yeah.
Also, can you?
It's funny. It's funny that you say that because, like, for me, like I said, like now people who I know are starting to have babies, and I love like dropping off a meal for them. You know, I don't even know if they eat that meal. I don't know what they do with
the
that.
gesture is.
But I mean, I think it's a big deal. For me, like my personal torture would be like if someone was like, "I'll come clean your house for you." Like, say I would not like that.
Yeah.
But I would love like a meal dropped off anytime. So good.
Yes.
Like I don't care what it is, we'll eat it.
So helpful, and that gets more important as the kids get older because then as the mom, if you're the primary person that cooks, you know, it gets to a point where I am now is like, if I didn't have a kitchen, I'd probably be okay. I'm just tired preparing food, you know, and that doesn't mean I am so privileged I don't have to care about food. I'm just saying, like, the constant need to feed is
crazy.
That's real.
And not just feeding, meal prep, shopping,
cleaning,
making it, cleaning up after. And like my husband is very helpful with, especially cleaning up, but he's not home as much as I am.
Sure.
So I'm doing all the other stuff. And it's like, that's a lot. And like, trying to think of like what everybody likes and making sure they get enough vegetables.
That they eat it.
That myself gets enough like protein or whatever it is. Like, it's cooking.
I know. And it doesn't ever, never stops.
Yeah.
And then they just get bigger and eat more. But then it sort of tapers off, and like as they get into their later teens, I feel like they start to seek out the food, you know, make the food, or their schedules are different, or so it is such a short time. It's just when you're in it, it feels long, and it feels like a lot of days to make dinner. Yeah, it feels
dinner,
like
lunch, breakfast,
snacks,
all the
snacks. So one thing I did learn to do, though, speaking of snacks and dinner, is as the kids were in school and then we had activities in the evening too, is to have dinner after school, and then
a snack later.
Right.
Yeah.
So it would be nice to sit down to a family meal. We did that more like when they were younger, but as they got older and were in activities that are all in the afternoon and evening, it's really hard to do that. So being able to have dinner after, now they've eaten the thing they should eat, and then later or whatever.
See, I really like that. One thing that we have prioritized with our kids is like at least one family meal a day. Usually it's dinner just because that's breakfast is crazy and lunch my husband works. So and like right now I'm like, I'm glad that we're doing that. Like it is kind of a nice time. We do like a would you rather game. Yeah. And like it's all good. But like I know as they get older and into more things, it's going to be harder. And you know, we're going to separate. And even now on Thursdays, we like do 2 different dinners. And I think, early is a really good idea. I like that.
And I did learn something from their in-home care provider too. She always did. I was always happy when they went to her because I felt like they were eating the right things. It's like, well, if you have one meal that I make, it's okay because you ate all your correct things. But for their morning snack, when they'd be hungry, like after a nap or something like that, and all the kids wake up with like sweaty hair sitting at the table in a daze, you know, but they're hungry. That's when she would give them their vegetables because they'd be hungry for them. And then they sort of nobble and they're little and stuff like that. So that's a tip.
See, there you go. I like that.
That's a good tip.
Yeah. And our kids, our 2 boys, when they started going to preschool, they went to Montessori schools. And I picked up a good one from there too, was like they could eat their snack whenever they wanted, right? It was like, well, they had to turn in a card and get their snacks. So then for like a whole summer, and this was great because summer. Yeah. Our kids just had like a box that had 4 snacks in it, and you guys can eat these whenever you want during the day. And like some of them were slips, they had to go to the fridge to get their thing, but that way you're not asking me for snacks all day. I'd rather do this once in the morning, put it out, and like if you eat them all in the morning, that's just kind of tough luck for you. And they learn, they learn pretty fast.
Because they're so
the first day they ate all of it on the first, and then they're like, wait, I don't get a snack in the afternoon. I'm like, your box is empty. Like I don't know how to tell you. But then after that, that was nice because then they weren't. It's just like a constant ask for food, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
always. Or if they're just bored or between things. Us too. So we do that too. Yeah.
So I love the snack box idea. Yeah. And I guess that brings me like thinking about these like tips and stuff. I was thinking, like I said, I've been looking for like a community for a while, and during COVID, and even when I was like young, and I'm like, I'm not really a great friend right now to have because it's hard to get places and hard to be reliable, but I'm looking for a community. So you go to these like online groups, and you know, there's like even local groups and stuff, and then you follow your people on Instagram or whatever you do to try to build this community. But it turns out like it's a community of people that you don't really know, right? And you're just seeing their best sides. And I feel like for a while I was in a hard comparison game of why do they have 4 kids? And look at them go. Like, look at everything that they're doing. Look at those cute little like cutout shapes that they're putting on their plates and stuff.
God.
And it was a really, like, I had to really kind of reset myself a bit to be like, okay, this isn't right. I don't think I'm, looking at the right people. If this is how this is making me feel, it's supposed to make me feel good, right? But I think it is kind of cool that you can, like, if you can recognize that, like, okay, these aren't my people, even online, you can find people who are like you, who are like, okay, here's like the real deal. This is my messy house.
Yes.
This is my clean counter, my messy kitchen, or, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And like, I have appreciated that a lot. And I like getting sort of the advice and the tips from people who are in the similar situation, because even though now my friends are having kids, it's different, right? You have one kid, a baby.
Yeah.
And I have 4 who are like older. And it's hard to find like an advice kind of like people who are relevant right now, or, not
relevant to what you have going on.
I don't want to say bad, yeah. Like, I'm just talking about, like, like my parents would happily give me information on parenting, but it is really different. So that's what I mean by relevant.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't do it, 30 years ago, but they're also a little bit further than, like, the newbies, or, the people who haven't had kids yet. And so finding that sort of online community, which you can do easily now, really, if you can find the right sort of place. But anyways, that's been really helpful for me, too, as I've been, like, searching for, like, what am I looking for in a community? What do I like about, what people can give and what I can give back? And, how do these things work together? Because some people, you're friends with them and it's almost like they take more than they give. They want to dump all their stuff on you about their kids or their husbands or their, finances or whatever it is. And it's kind of like, I don't mind that. I'm here to listen to you. But also, a conversation would be nice, right? Yeah.
Well, I think what we're all hungry for in our relationships really is reciprocity. So it's like, I'm very capable. I can carry a lot, mental load, physical load, whatever it is. But I don't want to have to carry it all if I'm in a relationship with you. If we're in a friendship and you have stuff going on, there should be this free flow of like, it's your turn. And then when I have something going on, a free flow of like, and everybody's not like that, and that would be like relationship goals, friendship and otherwise. Yeah. But that's kind of what you're seeking out. And so I've done this. I'm not really like trying to plug something here, but just in this vein. So the guests of the show, we had a gathering just to thank them because it's been a year, and I've really tried to take from the show just lessons and like, what do women need that they're not getting, or what do they want, or what would help them feel fulfilled? And because this job is so important to be a mom, and you can't do it alone, although many women feel like they are doing it alone. So community, just like this wasn't planted for you to talk about today, but that sense of community of women who are kind of getting after it in the same way. So their aim is to raise their kids to be productive, positive members of society, and they want to love them, and that's the center of their existence. But they also have a pull to develop themselves and stay in touch with who they are, and then be in contact with women that are the same kind of, have that same kind of aim. Doesn't mean you have to start a business today and like that's your whole aim and raise the kids and all the other things, but just that there's something else inside of you want to grow. That isn't a baby. How did that work out?
Wow.
So anyway, I'm starting a group after the first of the year to try to do that. So it'd be like you meet twice a month just online, but then once a quarter in person, and so you get to know the women, just like what you're talking about. You just share space. And that get-together I had was just sharing space for 2 hours, and then talked a little bit about this, and then featured another mom who was on, who's a health coach, and she talked a little bit about what she does. So then you have a chance to have a network, and it's not heavy. It doesn't mean you have to buy something or join something or
like a weekly commitment in person, because like you said, for moms it's hard.
Oh
like
my
I
gosh.
can't commit to a weekly thing. Anyways.
But if you knew 4 times a year for 2 hours. This is like just like your hour twice a week, but it's 4 times a year and in person. You could maybe pull that off, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So just something like that. And the other thing I've learned is like, keep it simple. So I like to make things complex, and I've had to learn really, it has to be simple. Going back to like what our brains do, your brain does not want to just jump into something complex. Like, it has to know what the value is, what's the reward going to be, what is it tied to, and then maybe, you know, maybe I'll get on the treadmill for 5 minutes, you know? It's like, and then you kind of have to ease in. So keeping it simple. So even your 1 hour twice a week, you know, just something simple that you can manage, that's for you for 45 of that hour, or something like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I love that. I look forward to joining.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. But I think, you know, that's just what you're talking about. And I think that would be great if, you know, more women could do that. You know, one group isn't it. I'm sure there are groups that exist, but they're kind of hard to find sometimes.
Yeah. And like, I'm in some of the, you know, the local groups, and I think they do a good job for the most part. Like, it'll be like, you know, a group of moms is going to the library with their kids.
Yeah.
But to be honest, that's not really what I want. I want like a mom's time, right? Like, I want to go have like my own group. I don't need to go hang out with, I mean, I love that too. I love hanging out with people and their kids, but like, you need something else as well. And I feel like that's a struggle as well. Like I said, you don't want to get so lost in this, and this is the only way we know each other is because our kids, but also you want to be like, I want to connect with you as an adult, right? And so
I'd love to have an adult conversation.
Yeah. And so I feel like that's something that I do feel like is harder to find. Like, you could probably find play groups and you can go do your stuff, but it's harder to find like a mom's group, I guess.
Yeah, that doesn't involve caring for your kids at the same time.
Yeah, but you can still talk, you know, you can still talk about your kids, obviously, and everyone's moms, then that's great too, because you have some commonality, but also like, that's.
I did notice this too when I went on a field trip recently. So we went to a little plug for Busy Barn Farms, you know, it's great there. And there's so much to do, and there were a lot of schools there and all at the same time. And it was time for like some groups to eat lunch. So they're at the picnic tables, and you know, the kids are still little enough that they need chaperones. So the people that have volunteered, the moms that have volunteered, are helping open the thing, you know. So, but they're like so desperately just talking about anything with each other. And I was sitting with my son, and it was just him and I at the time. And I was watching these women, and they're just like, you know, the one woman's daughter's bottom of her foot itched, you know, so she like took her shoe off, took her sock off, and she was like scratching. And then the mom's like, put your shoe on now. You've touched your foot with your hand and you can't eat. And then she's like, and anyway, and still trying to like have this conversation over here. It's like, it's just chaos, but it's so desperate to like just connect and be validated and just have a conversation that doesn't involve like just put your sock back on.
Where you're trying to like you don't want to be multitasking when you're with like your girlfriends, right? You want to be like, I just want to talk to you and like have a coffee or a meal or whatever it is. And
and at the same time, then it's the kid's field trip. So like your focus as the parent is supposed to be on this child's experience. It's like, put your shoe on, you know, and you want to talk, and it's just always like being torn like that. So carving out that time somehow, you know, 1 hour a week, or even on a Zoom, or just something where you can get it out, you know, just have this like face-to-face conversation. So
I think it's much needed.
So working on it. So
Awesome.
But anybody else who wants to work on that, like, there's a need for that out there. So.
Absolutely.
So feel free to also do that. Okay, so any other kind of, I mean, we've talked a lot about, you know, us as moms and our needs and kind of what the gaps are there that we're trying to fill. Anything else, you know, that someone in the throes right now kind of going through that you think other moms might identify with?
Yeah, I think I'm going to touch back to like the seasonal thing. Like, I think there are so many seasons in the motherhood, and you might feel like you are deep in a season, whether it's your baby's not sleeping, you're potty training, you're trying to feed kids, you're driving kids, your kids are driving. But there's so many different seasons. And I think just respecting like the change of the seasons, the change in your kids and yourself in those seasons as well. And just trying to do what you can for yourself and then for your maybe community, whether that's bringing meals to people who are in other parts of it or whatever it is, and just being there for other moms in their seasons too, whether that's, like I said, bringing meals, maybe putting your friends' kids' birthdays in your calendar and wishing them a happy birthday on their birthdays. I love that. Such a small thing that you can do. But yeah, just respecting the seasons for yourself and then for your friends who are around you, your village that you're trying to build, because it is, you got to build your own village. I've learned that. And just knowing that everything is a season and seasons will pass and change as well.
And they do it whether you're on board or not.
Yes,
it
no, they're
happens.
going. They're going.
Yeah, you got to embrace that. And like you said, I love what you talked about. You know, we can all sit around and wait for what we want to come to us, but it doesn't work like that, you know. You could put that energy out of things that you want, but then your aim should also be to have action toward that, you know, no matter how small it is, you know, even if it's going to take you years to get there, but just small, like incremental actions toward that goal or whatever you want, building your village. I mean, look, you're here.
Yeah.
So this is part of your village.
Yeah, see, and maybe that's another thing. Do some things that scare you. I was pretty nervous to come on here.
Yeah.
And this year I've like done some things that I'm like, I didn't think I'd be doing that at this stage, but it's good.
And that's all growth. And what else are we here for?
Exactly, yes.
I mean, we are not here to be scared, and we are not here to cower, and we are not here to not do the things that we're capable of. That's just not what life is. Like, you're here for an adventure. You have some abilities. You have some ideas. Like, seize that and do that, and bring your kids along. You know?
I was gonna say, show your kids that you can do it. It's hard. You can do it.
Yes.
You always tell them you can do hard things. I can do hard things too.
Yes.
Like, I can do this. And,
And they're watching you and learning from you to do those things. So,
so
okay, do you want to talk a little bit about what you have going on, like with Lilac Jack?
My side hustle. So my business is called Lilac Jacks. It's lilacs and jacarandas, which are another purple flower from Australia. It's squished together. Anyways, I do some local craft shows. I have an Etsy shop, sell on Facebook, and then we have a website, lilacjacks.com.
Awesome.
We offer really unique handcrafted things. So if your grandma has a recipe that you love, I can hand trace it and put it on a cutting board for you.
Oh my gosh, cool.
I trace houses for like realtors or like if you move into a new house and things that are very like keepsakey. But yes, those are the things that I love making for people. So if you're interested in that, you can go to lilacjacks.com. We do local pickup too. So
that's awesome.
Good. Yeah.
I didn't even ask you about that before. I was just like, what's your side hustle?
It's like putting it in,
Yeah.
It's a side hustle. It's always a good thing.
And the holidays are coming up, so.
Yes, it's a good time.
It is. And the new year. I'm just thinking like all the things.
Stuff. I know,
I love a knick-knack, so.
I know. See, there's lots of good ones.
Okay, so people can check that out, lilacjacks.com. Okay, anything else you want to offer before we wrap up?
I don't think so. Thank you for having me here. Everyone should come on here. It's a very unique experience to just talk about yourself and not, not really your kids. So yes, I loved it. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. It was great to have you on. Anybody who's watching is invited to come. Obviously, it's easier if you're within driving distance of Madison, Wisconsin. I am actually going to have another branch of the show that is on Zoom, though, and I'm trying that with military moms after the first of the year. So depending on how that goes, I would love to open this up to local here, but also online, and those would just be different branches of the show. So I'm glad you had a good experience, and little plug for that. And then good luck with all of your things. It's one day at a time, and make sure you're like carving out just a smidgen of time. I love that you do the crafting thing too, because that is yours.
It
and
feels good. It feels good.
You're producing something and it's tangible.
Even with that, there's still lots of mom guilt, like, am I taking the right time? But it is nice to have. So.
Yeah. And you're brightening the lives of so many other people by doing that for them, because they don't do it for themselves.
Yes, I love doing that.
So that's awesome. Okay, so thank you so much for coming on. And then if you want to go online, lilacjacks.com, and then you can connect with Emily and she can help you with your crafts. So do that. And again, thanks you so much for coming on the show. If you're interested in coming on the show, you can reach out at mentallytoughmom.com and we can get you scheduled. And please remember to keep your perspective, but don't be afraid to step into somebody else's like we did with Emily today. Be resilient and continue to show up even when the days are hard, even when you're not sure what you're going to do that day. You need it. Your kids need it. We all need you to show up. Continue to have pursuits like we talked about today. One small aim way in the future is better than nothing, and you can align yourself to that aim and take small steps, even if it takes a long time to get there. And just continue to show up and don't feel alone. That's what the purpose of this show is to support you and let you know that there's a community of 2 billion moms around the world. So you're not alone, and take solace in that. We're here for you. Thank you.